up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener.
Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you all for choosing to kick off your new week, man, with Wake Up Woodward. And chat family, as always, you all are the most important part of the WUW Crew production. So let's go ahead and just run up those likes right now. You know what, Flannel Sam? It was an eventful weekend in sports here, especially with hoops, man. Pretty much a mixed bag. A lot of sad, but some positives with hoops here. I know we're going to get to it, man. It's your boy, Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network, and you know what? Red Wings correspondent.
Hey,
what is going on, Flannel Sam?
Well, there is a lot going on, and before we get to the sports, a couple people in the chat are already commenting about my appearance. And I'll tell you what, to the Phils and to the Mike G's, I'm sure my wife would give me permission to bang both of your wives and give them better pleasure than you all ever did, because I look better than both of you. That's just fact.
Early in the morning.
And I will film myself doing it so you can look at it for the rest of your lives. And while I'm thrusting, I'll just be giving you the middle finger the whole time.
What is happening?
The whole time.
What just happened?
Don't be talking about my appearance like that. I look better than both of you. That's facts.
I don't even know what's happened. Grab the bat! Get the bat! Get the fucking bat!
I'm fired up!
Let's go!
Do my Kool-Aid impression.
Oh, stop! It's too early. You know
No, it's not too early.
It's never too early. Never.
I am not prepared, bro.
We just gonna come in here and talk about, how it wasn't the greatest sports weekend for Michigan, but Sam came in with a hot one today, man. Oh,
See
my
what
God.
happens with the Pistons?
I don't care what your
I
wives
swear.
look like. Just out of spite, I want to do it.
I am not ready, bro.
Oh, no. Hey,
That's
what
aggressive
up,
for
though,
my
people?
taste.
Welcome to Wake Up
Bang,
Woodward.
bang. Going bang, bang, bang.
True. Hey, Flannel Sam, you want to tell the people what's on the menu?
Absolutely. It was a mixed bag weekend. I will just say that. Some teams won, some teams lost. A couple of teams got in some fights. I'll just say that.
Scrappy.
And Auburn is the state of Michigan's daddy. But, and that's fair. JB,
Yeah,
that's
that's
fair,
fair.
right?
That's fair.
It is what
Yeah.
it is. They eliminated both of our teams. But before we get to just some other teams, I wanted to give the Wings a little bit of a shout out. It's unfortunate that Chase isn't here, but that's all right. He's with us in spirit. But the Red Wings, they did get a win on Saturday to keep their slim playoff hopes alive, although unfortunately the Montreal Canadiens and the New York Rangers won. So slim is maybe even pushing it, but I've always said that I wanted to see the Red Wings, if they're not going to make the playoffs, if they're going to have a disappointing season overall, I wanted to see them finish the season strong. I wanted to see production from some of the younger guys, continued production from some of the younger guys, and I'll tell you what, I get it. Boston's not a very good team. It's a little too late, but I keep pointing out, guys like Marco Kasper and Albert Johansson, those are two of the reasons that my Red Wings mental health isn't teetering at this point. Because in that game, Marco Kasper scored a goal. Albert Johansson was tied for the team lead on the day in hits with 7. Love to see that. Those are two guys you want to keep seeing perform and you want to keep seeing get better, because next year I expect leaps from both of them, and of course we expect them to be a big part of the Red Wings' future. Also got a nice power play goal out of Lucas Raymond to continue his torrid power play pace this year, 4th in the NHL in power play points. I got to shout out Cam Talbot as well. He had a really good game, and obviously Cam Talbot this season has been a bit of a mixed bag. His production this year has been less than what it was last year and less than what it's been over his entire career, but he is under contract for next year, so he's somebody you would like to see finish the season strong, finish with a respectable save percentage, maybe finish the season hot, help the Red Wings win a couple of games, and then next year maybe be in a part of a rotation with Sebastian Cossa. Who knows? But even though the season has been a bit of a failure in a lot of ways, I like seeing that win, and I'm going to need some more. As I said, to me, it's very important that they finish this season strong and don't just tank the rest of their games, because I do not want to see a point total that is anywhere in the 70s or low 80s. I need more than that, or else there's going to be some concerns.
And you know what? I appreciate that perspective and that approach, because when we go back to how we've covered this team for the entire season, and even going back to last season, you want to see that fight. But what do we know this team had to do? They had to climb from the pits of the depths of the standings. And so that's where I am encouraged with what the Top Father was able to do, and I would have loved to see what he could have done for a full season. Maybe we're talking about playoff Red Wings right now.
Maybe.
But instead, we saw him go on a couple nice runs with this team, sparked them immediately, seemed to really regather command of a locker room that looked like it was lost underneath a lawn. Like, his voice just didn't seem to matter. These guys had no spark. They had no zip. And some of the issues that you guys have talked about consistently, they haven't necessarily gone away because they haven't necessarily been addressed by Steve Yzerman, but you've still seen this team respond better underneath Todd McClellan, and that's where I appreciate the perspective of, you know what, they've fallen just short, but you can see, at least with the Todd Father, at least with where this team is trying to go, if they can fight strong to the end of the season, you tip your cap and you say, you know what, now you've set your new floor going into next season. You've had a couple close calls with the wild card spot now this season, and you still last season, and you still have an opportunity this season. And so, you want to see, like all Detroit teams, you want to see them fighting.
Yeah. The schedule's obviously, we've talked about it ad nauseum, and I don't need to beat a dead horse, but that's what I think is ultimately going to cost this team a playoff spot, or really even the amount of points that I deem acceptable. We'll see, though. Like I said, if there's some things, though, that I've been able to hang my hat on. And, oh, by the way, that goal for Marco Kasper, that was his 15th on the season. That's very encouraging, especially considering he didn't start the season with the Red Wings, and at the beginning of his Red Wings tenure, he was toiling on lower lines, and he wasn't being very productive because he was not with the best talent around him, and that's putting it very, very nicely. But also, for people who wanted to see more fight, literally, you saw Alex DeBrincat getting a scrap. That was shocking to me, because I've been questionable of DeBrincat's physicality, which I'm not mad at, by the way. I just, I didn't realize that was part of your game, but he whooped some ass, and so did Austin Watson. And it seems like Austin Watson, say what you want about him, he's a low-line player at this point in his career for sure, and really always has been. But he's brought a level of toughness and fight to this team that I know a lot of people have been wanting to see. I know Chase, that's something that he points out all the time. And maybe when he gets back, we can let him wax poetic about the Red Wings whooping some ass, literally and also figuratively with the win. But hey, showing some fight, finishing the season strong, that's really all I can ask. But I want to highlight one more thing before we moved on, because this is where I have accentuated the positives, but I've got to really lay out a few things of concern with this Red Wings team. Obviously, we know some of the concerns. The goaltending has been awful. The PK is historically bad. Guys like Justin Holl and Eric Gustafsson and Vladimir Tarasenko, yada, 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 have been disappointing this year, to say the least. Like Jeff Petrie, all those guys, not really good acquisitions by Steve Yzerman. But there's a couple of things that have concerned me just a little bit with the star players. And I want to start with Dylan Larkin. JB, if you've got that graphic, Dylan Larkin's production, slightly concerning for maybe what we talk about with him being a potential 1C moving forward. As you can see, in the 23 season, he had 79 points in 80 games. In the 24 season, 69 points in 68 games. A literal point-a-game guy for 2 total seasons. And then this year, 62 points in 73 games. I'm not saying that it's all his fault or that he's been bad by any means, but I think that stat right here with the 25 season lends more credence to the people who say he's going to be your 2C when you're ready to win. You need a 1C. And I've pushed back on that some, but that's probably actually what he is. He's damn good, and he shouldn't get blamed for this year by any means. I've already mentioned people who actually deserve the blame, people who are actually bad. But Dylan Larkin, there's a ceiling with him as one of your better players, I think. But unfortunately, it's not just Dylan Larkin. I want to point to Lucas Raymond as well. And maybe this is a little bit unfair. Lucas Raymond, he scored on the power play, been a power play demon. Point a game, 73 points in 73 games. He's taken that leap. He's fantastic. However, going into next year, I think that there are some allegations that he has to answer for. And this is going to sound derogatory, but I don't mean it to sound as bad as it's going to sound. I think he is going to have to answer for some power play merchant accusations. 35 of his 73 points have come on the power play. That is 48% of them. He is top 10 in the NHL in power play points. But JB, if you want to put up the next graphic, it really gives some credence to the power play merchant allegation. These are the top 10 power play scorers, and these are the total points that they've scored on the season. Nikita Kucherov, 109. Nate McKinnon, 109. Martin Necas, 80. Jack Eichel, 73. Jesper Bratt, 86. Cale Makar, 84. Clayton Keller, 79. Mitch Marner, 91. Leon Draisaitl, 104. Lucas Raymond, 73. And don't get me wrong, Lucas Raymond is still young. I think that he's going to get better. But unfortunately, one of the telltale signs of the season and why it hasn't gone as well as I would have hoped and as well as a lot of you people have hoped that it would, is that they haven't been a very good 5-on-5 team. And Lucas Raymond, as great as he's been on the power play, his 5-on-5 production has not exactly been great. Absolutely thrilled that he took that power play leap, but I'm going to need more from the 5-on-5 next year from him, and I'm going to need more overall from Dylan Larkin. And don't get me wrong, not hating on these guys in any way, shape, or form, but those two are the keys to the Red Wings actually making the playoffs next year, or two of the big keys to the Red Wings making the playoffs next year, when also talking about guys like Kasper and Johansson taking bigger leaps, the goaltending getting better free agent acquisitions. But at the same time, I just wanted to highlight where Larkin and Raymond have been slightly deficient as well, because the reality of the situation is the Red Wings season has not gone the way that we hoped that it would, and you gotta talk about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, this year you actually have Dylan Larkin down the stretch as opposed to last year when they had a good shot to make the playoffs, but you know that infamous 7-game stretch where he got injured, as well as after they put the priority patch on and everything just seemed to fall apart for them, and we know how that season ended. Good record, decent record, but not enough points to make the playoffs, and you follow it up a second year and you have them there. And this way, yeah, you want to see those guys be the ones that are actually down the stretch, being the difference makers towards the playoffs. But that's, again, where I'm just continuing to look back at I really can't wait to see how things are for a full season under Todd McClellan, and hopefully, it's with Steve Yzerman pushing the gas pedal a little bit more on the Yzer plan and filling a little bit more of these efficiencies, even if it's calling up some people from Grand Rapids.
Hey, we might be seeing some new ones from Grand Rapids next season, and that is very, very exciting, because one thing that you can't question is that when guys that Steve Yzerman get called up, they produce, and guys like Marco Kasper and Albert Johansson being good their rookie years has been a big part of it, along with guys like Edvinsson, Seider, and Raymond as well. But you guys already know that. But you know who else had a eventful weekend when it comes to fighting in the basketball sense and fighting in the literal sense? Detroit Pistons. Mixed bag weekend, but certainly a notable weekend, and we're going to talk Pistons when we get back. But first, I got to tell you about Feldman. Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 6 consecutive years. They've got deals of the month. You can get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew for just $199 a month. You can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? Why do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Listen, I'm not sure who, but somebody let the Tigers get hot.
The Detroit Tigers are locked and loaded for another great summer in Detroit. And it all starts downtown at the biggest home opener party in the city. Join Woodward Sports at Grand Slam Festival as we take over the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big-ass tent for a big-ass Detroit party. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFestival.com or follow Woodward Sports on X and IG for your chance to get in for free. Party across from Comerica Park and hear the roar as the Tigers take the field for the first time in 2025. DJs, food trucks, bartenders, live broadcasts, and more. See you for the Tigers' first home game of the season, April 4th at the Grand Slam Festival with Detroit's biggest party animals, Woodward Sports.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
All right, Woodward Sports fans, Sears the Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. Do yourself a favor, scan that QR code on the screen, use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is make a minimum of a $20 bet, and you know what? If it doesn't hit, it'll go right back into your account. No questions asked. Hey, if you bet on the Spartans last night, it just sucked, but you know what? That 20 is right back in your account to go at it again tonight. Scan the QR code on screen, use code word Woodward1000, and you know what? Make some money tonight.
Hey, make some money. What up, though, people? Welcome back to this Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate y'all for kicking off this day with the WUW Crew. Let's run up those lights, and we already got a couple super chats in, and you know what? We'll get to those and real quick. We are talking about the Pistons this segment, and there is a slam game. So they're going to unveil the slam cover. That's on what? The Knicks against the Knicks on April 10th. So we got a couple tickets that I want to be able to give away to some people. But we'll see how the super chats go over a couple days. I was going to leave it up to JB to set the mark because I know 50 is our first merch goal giveaway. But should we set a week goal? A goal for this week for the ticket giveaway?
I definitely think we should, especially given how important the game is. Obviously, Cade, slam cover, like, you know, it's a special thing. So, I don't know. We'll have to think about that a little bit more to see kind of what value we want to hit for the week.
Let's do this.
But it'll definitely be on Friday? You want to give them away?
Let's do that. Friday.
For sure.
Let's do that, man. Yep. And
we'll be at opening day.
All right. So, yeah, let's do Thursday then. Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
It is that week.
I keep forgetting it's opening week. Like, yeah.
Oh, wow. Maybe we can still do it on the show Friday.
Oh.
Get people to tap in anyway. I mean, you could. Yeah. We'll do that. We'll get White Claw Flannel to do it too.
Oh, yeah.
We'll think about it. But but yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know we're definitely thinking about you guys as it relates to the Pistons and trying to get some boots on the ground. We're also going to have a giveaway on socials as well as one from Woodward Pistons too. So you guys are going to have 3 chances to win. Wake Up Woodward, Woodward Sports Socials, and Woodward Pistons are all a part of the Woodward Sports Network. So let's take care of those super chats, JBSmooovv.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Shout out to everyone sending in super chats as well, too. $5 from Burn came here earlier.
Shout out.
He said Sam channeling his Detroit Pistons energy right there.
Shut up and take my
early
money.
in the morning. Or early in the morning. Shout out Dante151999. He said, hell, last night seeing that fight between the Pistons and the Timberwolves, I felt like Dave Chappelle in the one skit where he yells, play the fight music, play the fight music. Anyway, I wanted 50 wins, so we're getting there, but hey, The fight last night, fellas.
Listen, man.
There's a lot to talk about.
Squabble up.
So much.
Squabble up.
Squabbling.
Because, I mean, overall, obviously in the last 4 games without Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris, the Pistons are 3-1. And it looked like they were on their way to 4-0 last night until the fight. Think about this. They were up 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
It was BTA Pistons in the first quarter, and they were well on their way to having a really chokehold on this game, for lack of a better word. And in a game where a fight broke out and actually spilled over into the fans, bro. Like, this. It's like Detroit, welcome back.
Yeah.
But that's where I see like Minnesota Timberwolves fans online popping their chest. I'm seeing like Cade detractors and people who don't want to believe in the Pistons pumping their chest like, look at you guys. Underneath all of the different posts like, oh, look at this, bad boys lost tonight, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whoa. You guys barely perked up and beat a Pistons team that ultimately was missing 7 players and their coach.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the box score, when you look at the game, you guys have your entire lineup basically. You got Ant Edwards out there, you got Rudy Gobert out there, and ultimately what this game and what this last 4 games has kind of symbolized for me is the Pistons fight. JB Bickerstaff promised grit. And in the beginning of the season, it sounds funny because of how bad they had been for the last 2 seasons. But when you see this team going out there and pushing the envelope as it relates to the physicality, when you see this team going out there and now doing things that probably wouldn't have even been fathomable, they're in the middle of not just a playoff chase, but seeding, trying to see if they can actually host a home playoff series, this Detroit Pistons team. And it's been founded in the fact that they said that they want to be more physical than anybody else. They want to play defense tougher than anybody else. And that, to me, was what was on display last night. They still were trying to battle, but they had just lost too many people after those ejections. And just so people do know the different ejections, and there were a ton of them.
Do you want to see them? Because I got
Go ahead.
Hey,
Please
pop
do.
them up
Please
there, man.
That's
This
crazy.
is crazy. Look at all
Marcus
those-
Sasser, technical foul. Ron Hollins, the second, ejected. Isaiah Stewart, ejected. Isaiah Stewart, technical foul. Ron Hollins, second, technical foul. Ron Hollins, technical foul. Dante DiVincenzo, ejected. Nas Reed, ejected. Donovan DiVincenzo, technical foul again. And once again, technical foul on Reed. Once again, also, JB Bickerstaff got ejected as
He
well
got
as
ejected.
Ejectocito, cuz.
assistant coach.
And just for those of you who aren't counting, that is 7 total ejections, 3 for the Timberwolves and 4 for the Pistons, on top of the fact that they were already missing Cade, Jaden Ivey, as we know, and Tobias Harris. They were really playing with a skeleton crew to end
half
that
the
game.
team.
That was a
Literally
They were
half the
kicking-
team.
They were
Yeah.
kicking tail before that, though.
Yeah.
That was a crazy thing. Like think about it. If you, that's what I was like. If you're just perusing, you just look at just kind of what the score is, you would assume Ant Edwards or somebody didn't play, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. There's something different about this team. And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about who they've been over the last kind of 4 games and really the larger part of who they've been over the season. But in this game in particular, I liked a lot of the things that I did see. Obviously, you want your squad to win. But when you see Malik Beasley go out there in 38 minutes and be able to put up still an efficient 27 points on 6 of 13 from behind the arc, Tim Hardaway puts up 20 points, Asar Thompson and such. These are the things that you want to see, especially as you're approaching the playoffs, is the consistent play. These are things we've seen these guys do now for a long time. And Tim Hardaway, he missed a little bit of time, came back, had an first game back, but since then he's been very consistent. It was one of the bigger reasons why, if not the biggest reason why, we won against the Cavaliers.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's good to see these guys still stay consistent because when you get your dogs back, when you get your horses back, when Isaiah Stewart is playing more than 7 minutes in a game, when Ron Holland is playing more than 7 minutes a game, Sasser, who's been hot while Cade has been down, only played 6 minutes. Those have been really a large part of your X factors that's underpinned as well these wins over the last 4 games without Cade and Tobias Harris. So
I want to ask one question and I want everyone in the room to answer because I'm genuinely curious because I don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, we know what happened in the game. The Pistons, they were up by 10 when the brawl happened. They ultimately lost by 19. They really had no chance to win when all of those players were out got ejected and JB Bickerstaff as well on top of everybody else that they were playing without. Are you guys more happy with the fight or disappointed that all of the ejections happened? Because without the ejections, they might have won the game.
The fight for me is like the consolation prize.
Okay.
Because I want wins right now. I want this team to be able to have opportunity to host a playoff series, and that's what they're fighting for. And to know that in an instant like that, it can kind of be taken away, and they weren't, in my opinion, even the aggressors in a situation like that, but they lost. They had more people ejected. That to me is just where I'm like, you know what? It's something else got to be done, man. I understand you don't like the way that you probably are fouled on a play. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't give you the right to walk up on a rookie, Ron Holland, and say, all right, let's start something. Like, and that to me is where I'm just like, you know what? You take the fight as a consolation prize because you realize this team is never going to stop swinging even when all the chips are down. But you want to see this squad have opportunity to have their players on the court and win, especially when they're already entering this game underhanded.
Underhanded.
Yeah.
KG?
No, I mean, I like the fight, of course, because that's just who we are. We ain't gonna let nobody punk us. Like, I like Nas Reed, but that shit was uncalled for. Yeah, right. I like Nas Reed, but that shit was uncalled for. But firmly in control of that game before, the people got ejected. And we kind of knew what that was, bro. After everybody got kicked out, you kind of knew that the Pistons probably weren't gonna win this one. So it is what it is. It's just, at this point, I'm trying to get to the playoffs healthy. That's my main concern.
Yeah, that there, man. Healthy and consistent, because I like the game as well from Dennis Schroeder. Have you guys looked at like his last several games from Dennis Schroeder? Yeah. He's stuffing the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Like across the board. He's playing confident. And it's like the Dennis Schroeder that for years, if he's playing against us and he's dancing all around us with Atlanta and he's making all types of clutch shots and such, it's like, you know what? I hate this dude. But if he was on my squad, I would love this dude. Now he's with the Detroit Pistons. I'm glad that he and Malik Beasley had a connection prior because Dennis Schroeder is a player that looks like he could have gone to any one of the contenders above the Pistons and contributed to them. But instead, he came to Detroit and he had an opportunity, because you remember the way that the trade was first announced. And then all of a sudden something went back and they were like, whoa, Pistons got Dennis Schroeder. They're going to rework this thing, because it was supposed to be that Dennis Schroeder was going to get bought out and have his pick. So it was awesome to know that we got this collection of veterans who they have a little bit of a connection to here already prior, but now they've formed as like the players that's been there and done that, that's had that temperament as it relates to playoffs and playing meaningful basketball. It's cool to see these guys step into that role with these young players who want to get there fast. And we're seeing this situation. Like, I'm sitting here like, yo, the Pistons have 42 wins on the season, and there's still games left to go, and they are battling for the 4th seed. They are literally ahead of Milwaukee Bucks right now. It's just like, it's a good situation for the Pistons, and that's why I like the nuance of your question, man, because at this point, this Pistons team has changed my expectations completely. It's not just how high can they punch up. Now it's just, you guys are good enough to win. Yeah. Just every matchup that's I think about, I'm like, you guys are good enough to win. Even in a 7-game series, if you can't win that, I don't see any matchup where they would get swept.
No.
And that's
not at all.
The expectation for me with this team has just changed to one where when I think of the Pistons, I think about defense, I think about grit, I think about hustle, I think about winning now.
Yeah, and speaking of winning, and I think this is a perfect transition to take a break and talk about Friday's game, I got to do a bit of a mea culpa because I predicted the Pistons would lose against the Cavs. I said when they lose, and I couldn't be happier to be wrong. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I've the completeness of that game in terms of everybody chipping in and contributing and playing great. It was just a thing of beauty to watch, and Friday night in LCA, that must have been the place to be. And oh, by the way, the Cavs, they were not playing shorthanded. I'll just say that. But
another game where you kind of look at the box score if you haven't looked at the game, and you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, even if you're looking at the game, you're like, what's going on here?
Yep.
I mean, I just want to say this before we head to break, just real quick. Shout out to Jay Hart in the chat. He's the reason why I looked this up as well, too. Eric Vincent put out a tweet yesterday. He said Chris Finch said he believes most of the escalating physicality came from the Pistons side before the fight even broke out. Do you guys believe that?
The physicality?
Yes, the physicality.
I do. 100%. It's what J.B. Bickerstaff said they are. And he said it. He said that the thing here is them not going over the line.
Exactly.
That's what Malik Beasley said too. We have to find a way to not get ourselves thrown out the game. And so it's like this is something that they do. JB Bickerstaff said, we will push and push and push from a physicality standpoint and try and push the other team over the limit. Unfortunately, if you're getting yourself ejected in a game where you're shorthanded, that can't be. And I'm glad they're having these experiences right now because they are fighting for something right now. This team has changed their expectation from just get in to we want to be able to host a playoff or get a 5th seed or finish amongst these playoff contending teams that's been here for years on end. So it's like they now know, look at what you probably cost yourself. You guys were up. So it's like you like to fight still in that situation, in that instance, but man, oh man, you want them to be able to rack up those dubs and have opportunity to have what they're fighting for.
Absolutely. And before we get to the Cavs game breakdown, it's going to be me. Just one quick thing, fighting the chat a little bit before we go to break. Just a little bit, but I'm going to do it nicely. Matthew Kruger, just answer this question in the chat.
Oh,
and if you
God.
answer honestly, I will never bother you again. Are you an actual Pistons fan? Seriously. Answer the question in the chat, and how you answer will be how I react moving forward. Just, are you a Pistons fan? But first, tell us about Grand Slam.
Oh, is it me?
My bad.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
Y'all gonna stop fucking with Sam today. I know that. Sam not having it on. He on y'all ass today.
He on that Ron Holland energy.
Yeah, man. I'm not mad at it either.
Yeah,
He's
me
walking
either.
up to random people like,
Right. Square up. Squabble up.
Squabble up.
Squabble up.
listen, just go back and watch that thing. Clarkson wasn't
He wasn't.
Bro,
Ron Holland be ready to square up on anything, bro.
Put your dukes up, pal.
he said,
Put your dukes up, pal.
Put them up.
hey, Detroit,
Put
get
'em
ready.
up.
Tigers Opening Day is here on April 4th this week, man.
Let's go.
Join Woodward Sports for the biggest and best party in the D, the Grand Slam Festival, outdoor tent party at the Detroit Opera House. So we're right in the middle of the action. And we want to see you all there. We've had people that have become interns and now part of this family at Woodward Sports by winning passes or showing up to these events and hanging out with the crew for a few years now. And it's been an awesome thing. I've been a part of this now for 4 opening days, and each one has been more and more epic, man. Like, especially White Claw flannel over here. So you guys got to show up, all right? The broadcast is brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw, where drinks will be flowing, smoke clouds will ride, and the party, it's not going to stop. WSM broadcast will go all day, so don't miss out. Get your tickets today at GrandSlamDetroit.com. Woodward Sports is opening day. Brought to you by Jars Cannabis, Mad Packs, and White Claw.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The bats are hot, and the weather's getting hotter. Summertime in the D with Detroit's big hitters, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, it's Planet Fitness, fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Hey, what up, Dome? We are back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and it's your boy Brandon there, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter, writer for the network, Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, vet of the network, Red Wings correspondent, and spicy guy today. Hey, shout out to our brother Matthew Broder, that dude Justin, Cavassier Chase. In the booths, we got Willie B. What up, though, brother? And we got Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. Got KG in the building. Can't wait to get you even more involved in this conversation with these Pistons because they've been crushing, man. They've been crushing overall. I know that we wanted to see this win, especially when it looked like they were well on their way to a dub. But you know what? At the very least, we get the consolation prize of seeing the bad boys go out there and the Pistons go out there and do some bad boys type things.
I see some people comparing it to Malice at the Palace too. Like, let's relax a little bit.
It's not that extreme.
It wasn't that bad, man. It was just a whole bunch of pushing and shoving.
Light work.
And once the crowd gets involved, it looks worse than what it is.
Light
but
work.
it is,
It's I don't even know. It's like once the crowd and the Pistons name is attached to it, then it gets a little bit worse
Of course.
than it is. And you know what? For a league that some people didn't wonder about the ratings, I saw that light up everywhere last night. The Pistons are, in my opinion, must-see TV. If you're not from here, listen, the Pistons are a top 5 league pass team. They just are. You got one of the best players in the league. You got one who can challenge for being the face of the league, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But what you saw them do even against the Cavs, it shows more or less the character of this team. They are winning without a guy who Mark J. Spears calls a top 5 MVP candidate.
Ooh.
We're gonna talk about that. But this 133-122 win to me over the Cavs, it was just as much a character win as the character consolation prize with the Fighting. And this is one where you called it, man. They had their entire roster, bro.
Mm-hmm. Cleveland did, yeah.
Cleveland did.
Everybody.
Cleveland did. And what I really liked about it was I've heard J.B. Bickerstaff talk about Jared Allen and Evan Mobley over there with the Cavs. I like the way that Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren stood on business in that game.
Yeah. They were both fantastic. And the funny thing is obviously we all watched the game. We were thrilled with what we saw. But when you just look at the box score afterwards, the amount of production that you saw is just insane. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. had his best game as a Piston. 10 of 18 from the floor, 7-11 from 3, 32 points. Asar, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 4 blocks. Absolutely stuffing the stat sheet. Duren, 16 points, 13 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder, 10 assists, which, talk about filling the stat sheet. Dennis Schroeder has been exactly what this Pistons team has needed ever since he has gotten here, and he's a big reason why the Pistons are 3-1 in the games that Cade has recently missed. You saw Malik Beasley, just a ho-hum, 19 points, 3 of 5 from behind the arc. Speaking of Isaiah Stewart and Ron Holland combined 9 of 11 from the floor and 24 points. This team was missing Cade and Tobias Harris, and they deprived the Cavaliers of getting their 60th win at LCA. They ended up getting it at home, I believe, against the Clippers on yesterday.
And not tonight.
Right. That's kind of symbolic, though. The Cavs are going for their 60th win, and the Pistons, without Cade Cunningham and Tobias and, of course, Jaden Ivey, were like, no.
Hey, do you think they were trying? Donovan Mitchell,
Yes.
38 points.
John Mitchell played great.
Hooping, bro.
Yeah, he was.
He was hooping, and that's the JBSmooovv. You got that graphic from with Bill Simmons, his comments on there, and then we'll also talk about what the Pistons have done in history here. And this one to me, man, it says it all as it relates to the Detroit Pistons. Beef Stew and Ron Holland being involved in a semi-brawl in Minnesota was the lock of the year. The bad boys are back.
And that's Bill Simmons. And Bill Simmons has been on record saying that he hated those bad boys teams back in the late 80s because he's, of course, is a Celtics fan, and he is one of, like him or not, he's one of the most prominent voices in just the NBA media. And him saying that, I think, is a big deal. It's different coming from Bill Simmons than it would be coming from you or I. And I'm not saying we're not important. It's just we are we are analysts, but we are also fans as well.
You're right.
But yeah,
Rod Beard says it too.
Yeah.
These are the people that sway decisions, and now we're starting, as it relates to postseason awards, as it relates to even the narratives that are talked about. Why are largely, when I look at the comments underneath NBA posts and things like that, why are people like, wait, the Pistons are still doing this? It was cute in the beginning of the season when y'all said postseason Pistons and they were in 10th. Why are they literally challenging for the 4th seed? And you're starting to see people wake up to the fact that this is a real team, and you're starting to see these guys, as they're talking about it more and more people now are experts on it. Everybody calls them. And it's, you know what? We let it go because we want our team talked about, especially when they deserve to be talked about in a positive light, in the ways that we have generally known our Detroit Pistons teams to play. And just a little bit of history here. Throw it over to KG. You got that other graphic. The Pistons, man, they become the first team to triple their win total, man, in a season.
Absolutely. That is wild. That it's the first team ever. But then again, that's why, and I get it, it's also a testament to how bad that they were last year, but this should never be taken for granted. Tripling their win total. Tripling. And that being said, if JB Bickerstaff isn't coach of the year, we riot. The problem is our odds say that he won't be coach of the year. And, of course, you saw that stat with the net rating that the Pistons have had.
Number 2 since the trade deadline.
That's since the trade deadline. That's unbelievable. And, hey, Dennis Schroeder, he deserves a lot of flowers for that. He's not the only one, but he's been exactly what they need.
Yep. Hey, there we go. Detroit Pistons. And this is the crazy thing. They've done this through 74 games of the season. This thing isn't going to be done. In terms of how much better this team is going to be historically, because JB Bickerstaff has come in right away and put this team on the right tracks. It was interesting, those comments, and that might be a constant refrain, especially as we go into the playoffs, of finally able to ask him that question and him responding, the talent was already here. And then we just added a little bit of veterans that want to be here, and then boom, just make sure these guys make sure that he's doing his job, because that's ultimately what he said. On coaching.
No, I mean, and this is why I've been saying, clearly this wasn't a 14-win team last year. Unfortunately, you just didn't have the right people at the top, and then you already know if it's not right at the top, then everything else crumbles. It just is what it is. But when you just look at JB Bickerstaff, he has now done this with 2 NBA franchises. He has taken 2 NBA franchises from the absolute gutter and turned them into one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And it's just the way they play, kind of going back to Bill Simmons' comments. The reason why people are starting to view them as like a second version or third version of the Bad Boys is because the wins are starting to come with it. Like if they were just crashing out and still getting blown out by 30, it wouldn't really mean shit. We wouldn't really take to it like we have been. It's the fact that this team is real, it's tangible. You can reach out and touch it. This is the real thing. This is the genuine article. These guys, they're young, they're hungry, they have developed, and they've taken that step up. And they have a superstar in Cade Cunningham, and they have a great supporting cast. And if you can't tell that the supporting cast is great, look at what they've done without Tobias, without Cade in the lineup. You beat the best team in the East that you've had problems with all year long. So, of course, in a game without Cade, I'm not thinking that y'all going to go out there and do what y'all did. I mean, Asar Thompson, double-double. That was crazy, man. Malik Beasley just continues to be a light for this team, man. He went out there, had a crazy shooting night. You already know my boy Duran, man, 16 and 13. Bro, like this, they just find. Hey, I'm just saying. But this team just continues to find ways to win, and it's not just they're the Pistons, they're getting lucky. Teams don't see them coming. No, this is a well-oiled machine. We are the scariest team in the NBA right now. No team wants to face us in the playoffs, flat out.
I'm telling you, bro. That's what impresses me about that game, is that you're right. It's not like the Cavs sat back it's the Pistons. No, they knew this was about to be a battle, and they had all their dogs, like you were talking about.
Cleveland had all their dogs, and Donovan Mitchell certainly played like the dog that he is and has proven to be. But another fan that I have to go at, and I'm going to do it a little bit, somebody that I have to go at, and I'm going to do it a little bit nicer than I usually do. But then again, I just have to ask the question. This is from Skydog722. He actually addressed that at you, at Woodward Pistons. Kool-Aid, easy to improve by that much when they threw away the 2023-24 season. And I'm going to ask you, Skydog, answer this truthfully. Are you a Pistons fan? Are you a Pistons fan? We talked about Skydog, this is the first time that this has happened in the history of the NBA. I get it. Last season was awful. There was nowhere to go but up. Before the season, though, what was your win total, Skydog? What was it? What was it? Out yourself.
Oh, because
what was your win total, Skydog?
Because just to back that up, hey, maybe it's easy to improve that much in your world. You know what? They're the first team to do this in NBA history. And guess what? The Pistons have been this bad before. And they didn't have this type of turnaround before. JB Bickerstaff has done this twice now. So something has to be in the pudding, right? But when you look at the expected wins on the season, who has the biggest leap, the biggest margin between how many wins they actually have and the expected wins, that's still JB Bickerstaff, and nobody's even remotely close. He's still, it's like right now at this point, 16 and a half wins above, or 16 and a half wins above what most of the odds said that he was going to do with this team this season. And I didn't see anybody, even some of the most ardent. The most bullish in this room was KG, and you said at the beginning of the season 35. I said, I want to stand up here and say 40, but I said this last year, and I'm going to wait until the 20-30 game mark, so at least 30, and they got to get into the postseason. Everybody else set floors that were just a little bit above that in this room, but you capped out at the 35, and we've seen this team go out there and blow beyond it. And when we said that, you guys remember what most of the chat family was saying, most of the reactions out there. Man, look, we've been tracking this thing for a good 3.5 years on Woodward Pistons and on Woodward Sports. So it's intriguing now to see when you do get responses like that. It's just like, listen, JB Bickerstaff has come here and he's only done good. That's
Absolutely.
It. And who's supposed to get it? The person who's taken over the team that JB Bickerstaff turned from nothing into something now? That's what I'm saying. Like, he's done this. This isn't like a situation where even with Dwayne Casey, and I like Dwayne Casey a lot. He won Coach of the Year with the Raptors. He didn't do that here. There was regression. With JB Bickerstaff, he built up one squad from Monty Williams. They said that he built up Phoenix, right? And he turned them around. He took them to the playoffs after 6 years of no playoffs for Devin Booker. But with JB Bickerstaff, we didn't see any regression. We saw him just come here and just hit the ground running. I can't take anything away from him because of how bad the team was prior. Like, bravo on the organization for getting the right guy in here, because when you look at it, sometimes I wonder who would have done a better job than him.
Nobody in the entire NBA, given what this team, that they were young, that they have a bunch of as the bat's about to fall. That's all right. They were young.
Bat is fired up.
They have a bunch of players who play with a lot of energy and obviously are naturally good defenders and have the instinct and the athleticism. And JB Bickerstaff needed to tap into that. Obviously, Cade Cunningham, with better talent around him, was always going to take an even bigger leap than we'd ever seen him have. And yeah, there's nothing really you can say negative about this team, and that's my problem with people like Skydub, because he said that his win total was 30. Okay, then they've blown past your win total by 12. Don't act like them winning 42 is actually more proof that you were right. That's bitch assness. It just is. Stop complaining and just enjoy the ride. I have what I believe are the reasons why you aren't enjoying the ride, but I don't understand it. If you want to lean a little bit more negative to the Red Wings, I get it, because they're going to miss the playoffs. They're not going to have as many points as they did last year. If you want to lean a little bit negative towards the Tigers, I understand that to some extent, because they just got swept and their offseason was underwhelming to most. But the Pistons? You expected 30 and they give you 42 and you're still whining? Like, come on. Like,
that's
and
crazy.
Still acting like you were right? What the hell are you talking about?
And not just that. You just look at the health of the organizations. I'm so glad that we track these things, man. Like, Rod and I look for certain things, and we've continued to track these types of things. They're all dysfunction teams. And you look at this longevity aspect, the Pistons are in a really healthy spot. None of their players are feeling like they're looking over their shoulder. I promise you, Trae Young is hearing whispers everywhere he goes. Every trade deadline, is he going to be traded this offseason? You look at some of these other squads, you look how Minnesota just fell apart. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, Tyler Herro, hey, shout out to you for being an all-star. Clearly not the same type of all-star as Cade Cunningham. And, so many things are turning up 7-7-7 for the Pistons right now that for fans, I'm like, isn't this what we've all wanted?
Yeah.
How is there any fan that's not on board with just supporting? Now you're playing with house money. Isn't this the time now we can say, wait, they've already blown past the postseason expectation. They're to the point where they're resetting expectations for all fans. This is the time to just enjoy what happens from here. If they go out there and they don't compete from this point, like the Red Wings, like you want to see them compete, then obviously you say, you know what, something is amiss here. And I get if you want to be able to criticize that, but where they are right now, this is the time when I'm like, Pistons fans should be, you get the license now to be rabid, insane fans. These players are going out there and literally bringing that bad boys to the hardwood for you. They're literally winning. They're literally going out there and people are saying, man, the Pistons will be a good first-round matchup on TV against the Pacers or the Knicks. This is what I'm hearing from national people now. They want to see the Pistons. Whatever, Shaq.
I don't know what happened with Shaq right there.
Shaq always hated
he's still salty about 04.
Yeah, it's got to be that. And I hate to keep pointing to that, but what else could it really be? But nah, man, this is more than just about this year, bro. This is the best Pistons team that we have had since 2009. Do we really understand like the level of what the hell we're seeing right now? This is why last week I said, and I know you're trying to think. I see you with your thinking face, Kool-Aid, but be real, bro. This is the first Pistons team where you kind of like lean into the expectations for this team a little bit more. You're confident in saying they can win a playoff series. Like we knew with those teams during the 2010s, we knew it wasn't tangible. We knew we was getting bounced in the first round, bro. Like there was no fucking hope at all. Like this is why I said last week, anybody that's not paying attention to the Pistons now, you just a casual, and that's okay. But this is like genuinely, if you enjoyed the 2022 Lions, you should enjoy this Pistons team even more because they are doing something even greater than what they did when they went on that 8-2 run to end the year and almost got into the playoffs. The Pistons are firmly in the playoffs. And they have a chance to really go out there and make some noise. Once again, no team wants to face you right now. You are viewed as the most dangerous team in the NBA. And if you come in that first series, trying to play us like, oh, it's just the Pistons, they gonna fall apart, you will pay for that.
Absolutely. And for the record, I think that it's the vocal minority. I think that most people are on board and enjoying the heck out of this run. I know we all are in this room. I know most people in the chat are as well.
Arena's been lit.
Absolutely. It's been an absolutely remarkable turnaround. And didn't a certain NBA national media voter for MVP say that?
Let's go there. Mark J. Spears, man, shout out to him. He's been
friend of the show.
Friend of the show. And he's been one of the quickest on a national scale in the NBA world as well to give the Pistons their flowers early. I know JB's gonna get that up on the screen, but I'll definitely read it here as well because as soon as I saw these statements, I was just like, wow. I don't know if people quite know the magnitude of what of who Mark J. Spears is, but he says Pistons are an incredible story with little fanfare. Cade deserves to be a top 5 MVP candidate. Trajan Langdon has done an incredible executive job in year 1, and JB Bickerstaff coaching this team to 3 times as many wins is an incredible Coach of the Year worthy feat. So we kind of know where maybe his votes might lean, but you're exactly right here, man. When you see this type of talk about one Cade Cunningham, who you guys have heard Flannel talk about it, you have seen our rankings as it relates to the MVP. We've consistently stated, hey, Cade is pulling a lot of weight here, and the Pistons are winning amongst some of the teams where you got him ranked amongst some of these guys in this conversation. He deserves to be top 5. Now you're starting to see the national narrative be all NBA second team. I know KG was one of those guys saying, I think he got it in him. And so it's nice to start to see these things come to fruition and that the winning is authorizing these players to have a little bit more. And that's what we see here. And just a couple more stats there. If you see the other one there, it's another one, JB, from Basketball Index.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you could throw that one up, because I just want to show people when they talk about top 5 MVP candidates, you sit here and you look at who Cade Cunningham is, and he continues to show up in the tops of all of these types of stats. Man, only 9 players are 90th percentile or better. Check this out, Flannel Sam. In finishing talent, mid-range talent, 3-point shooting talent, and playmaking talent. Those players from 9 to 1, Tyler Herro, Anthony Simons, Luka Doncic, Victor Wembanyama, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic, because I just wanted you to hear some of those names first before we say Cade Cunningham, SGA, and LeBron James.
And look at this list right here.
It's crazy.
And this is why one of the many reasons why Cade Cunningham should be top 5, and I've still got him at 3 on my personal ballot. There's only 2 guys on this list that I think have a no doubt case above him, and we mentioned it before. It's SGA and Jokic, but Tyler Hero, obviously not. Anthony Simons, they're not even going to make the play-in. Luka missed too many games, and of course he plays with LeBron. Victor missed too many games. Tatum, I've always said that I needed, in order for a guy like Jason Tatum to get it, I needed the best season of his life plus a Celtics 65-win team, and that's not going to happen. With all due respect to Tatum, he's great, but I don't think he should get it over Cade. And then LeBron, I think LeBron should get some MVP votes, but I wouldn't put him above Cade at this point.
Not at all.
No. But the fact that LeBron's number 1 on that list is pretty wild too, and I'm happy about that.
I gotta tip the cap continuously, and from one old man to another old man, it's like, LeBron, we could break bread, bro. We can kumbaya. But you're right. These are the names that we've heard Cade Cunningham amongst all season, whether it's knowing that he and Nikola Jokic are the only ones to be at 25-5, or what is it, 25, I believe, 6-6 all over the course of the season to this point. We know that he, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and SGA are the only ones that show up in several other stats that go across the stat sheet. And when you see these types of things, 90th percentile across multiple things as it relates to the offensive side of the ball, it makes a lot of sense. And there was a point in time when I thought mid-range wise and the playmaking talent that he looked a little bit like Devin Booker, but when you see the players that he's amongst, he just looks like these players. And we've talked about all season with Cade Cunningham. He's going to make conversations very, very uncomfortable. But as you get a full season, plus the winning, plus heading into the playoffs to see exactly what he is, those conversations are no longer uncomfortable. They're just right about Cade Cunningham. He is one of your top players in the league. And let me ask you something. When you look at that list right there, out of the guys you would call the next up, right? He's still on his rookie contract.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which one of the ones would be the face of the league? He's the only one still up there that is realistically on a rookie contract still. I mean, I know you got Victor Wembanyama. That would probably, in my opinion, be the only other player when you're talking about rookie scale contracts and being the face of the league that would even challenge, obviously. And when you look at even the other players on here beyond that, on their mega deals, Cade is still one of those guys that I'm like, you know what? I think he's pretty marketable.
He's probably number 1 due to some. You know how I feel. I don't think an American has to be the face of the league, especially
overall. He's that dude.
Hey, and that's 100% fair. I don't think that with the game getting so more global, with so many superstars in the NBA being foreign players, I don't think that it needs to be a American necessarily. I mean, SGA, Jokic, Wemby, Luka, none of them are American, and I wouldn't have a problem with any of them necessarily being potentially the face of the league, although I think it's too early to tell with Wemby. But given the criteria and given the fact that Cade Cunningham is one of the up-and-coming future superstars in the game that is going to get a lot of MVP votes, Cade's got as good a chance of anybody as being the face of the league, especially if the Pistons end up winning, if they can parlay what they do this year, which is I'm predicting potentially a round in the playoffs and giving a second-round team all that they can handle. If they can start to win bigger, it could be Cade's league for sure.
Man,
no, absolutely. And the league is moving into a period where you kind of need multiple faces of the league. Of course, Victor Wembanyama, I see him as the dominant face. But you're moving into an era where you're going to need multiple faces. And if they want that American, to push as the face of the league, I mean, Cade Cunningham has got as good a shot as anybody.
Texan.
Yeah, man, for real. But look at that list. It's only him and Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum, he's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely not going to come in here and shit on the man. He's accomplished a lot in this league. But in terms of just, like you said, talent on a rookie contract, the new fresh faces of the league, Cade is right there. And the only other person that you can put in his stratosphere is an Anthony Edwards. But he's already told you, I don't want to be the face. So if that's the case, then I think Cade has absolutely a good shot at it, especially with his level of play.
Cade sat in a press conference room where these guys were all sitting.
Yeah.
These scrums down at All-Star, and they asked him, hey, who's the face of the league? He's looking around, he can I say me?
Yeah.
He respects these guys out there. But he's going to say exactly what you see these top players say. You hear some of them say, oh, this player is pretty good. Anthony Edwards, he says, me. Jason Tatum says, I'm the face of the league. Cade Cunningham, I'm the face of the league. And he takes each one of these matchups against these other players, as he does all the other teams, that much more personal. And you see him go out there, and this year, I thought he was really, really on a star level, just showing up big in those types of matchups.
Absolutely. And I know I've belabored this point a lot when it comes to Cade MVP. It does sound, in some ways it could sound to some people as a little bit of an overreaction, but I always point to the fact that when you talk about Giannis, the Bucks are below the Pistons in the standings right now, and I think they will stay that way. Ant Edwards has led the Timberwolves to the play-in. Not his fault, but they're a play-in team. They're not going to give serious MVP votes, in my opinion, to a play-in team. Those are a couple of the people that I think are pretty nice comparisons with Cade Cunningham in the MVP race. And I just gave you examples of where he has clear advantages. The Pistons are going to be in the playoffs. Ant Edwards in the play-in. The Pistons are going to finish above the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis in the standings. Think about that.
Crazy.
And I get it. Dame Lillard's had injuries. Still hurt.
They still got talent, and they still got
Giannis. They do.
And that's a championship team.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's not an overreaction. Cade Cunningham, to me, should still be third. Even though the Pistons did go 3-1 in a stretch without him, I think he should still be third in the MVP race. And if you want to give an argument for who could be third over him, I will listen to Jason Tatum, but I will disagree. And I won't listen to Donovan Mitchell because his numbers just aren't good enough. They're just not good enough. Look at the MVP winners. The last person to really win the MVP without putting up monster numbers was probably 2015 Steph. But that was different. He was kind of a revolutionary type player, if that makes sense.
And you know
it makes perfect sense.
The guys that are up to win the MVP, you look at all of the advanced metrics, and who's the guy that's like third right behind him and like all these stats? Oh, it's that guy that's third right here on this one as well with the B-ball index. And that's the thing. So they're winning. He's showing up to have the same type of impact and effect that these guys have with far less talent on this team. That's my thing. It's like you look at the talent. You look at what a lot of people are starting to say, you know what, leave this team effectively for dead. They got a bunch of mismanaged young talent that's not really going to scratch the surface. And now you see a squad where everyone's saying, oh, wow, look at this young core. And all they needed was just a coach and a little bit of, vet talent. And honestly, a big part of this is the maturation of Cade Cunningham taking that all-star leap. And this team saying we don't care realistically what the outside world tells us. JB Bickerstaff has been telling these guys, and Isaiah Stewart talked about it in a question. I'm going to try and bring that clip back up, too. That I was able to ask him. He said, you know what? JB Bickerstaff told us, and Jalen Duren talked about this, too, in a later press conference. He said, JB Bickerstaff told us that we could be stars in our own lanes. So that maybe the national media out there might not write about it, but he told us if we commit to these things, we will have success as a team. We will find ourselves effectively loved by the people here because they will see that work. And every good team, we talk about what's the identity of every good Detroit Pistons team. We talk about the defense and the hustle and the this and the that. But there's one other thing. They don't give a frick about what anybody outside of Detroit cares about them. They just cared about if they were representing what the Detroiters and the Michiganders here represented. And that's what this team is now. JB Bickerstaff is unabashed. He doesn't care. He's like, we're going to go out there and we're going to fight the way we know Detroiters like to get down. We have to represent this everywhere we go. And if that might make other people angry, it might make other people angry. And that, to me, is where you start to realize they got the talent, they got the coaching, but they also have so much more reason that they're playing for than just to win the game. And that, to me, is what we're seeing pushing them to well beyond. How many times have we reset our expectations? So
many times. And that's a fun thing to do, and it's absolutely okay. Speaking of teams that reset their expectations as the season went along, and I think both teams did this, by the way.
Yeah.
This was not a happy weekend for the state of Michigan in terms of college teams in the NCAA tournament, and we all are shaking our fists at that damned Auburn. That damned Auburn. But we're going to talk about that because I think it's both of the Michigan and Michigan State, their seasons are over, and we're going to start with State because they went one round further. They went to the Elite Eight, and they lost last night. We're going to get JBSmooovv's opinion on the team this season, and not going to lie, I'm kind of in my bag on this topic, so you're not going to want to miss this. But a little bit of a humble brag. Tell us about merch.
No, you've been in your bag all morning.
Yeah, you really have, Flannel. Before I tell you about merch, thank you for everyone sending in super chats. We got $10 from Burn. He sent this in. He said,
Shout out.
Do people realize that the Pistons haven't won one playoff game since George Bush's last year in office?
Thank you. Thank you.
The Belgium Olympics hadn't even happened yet. Iron Man 1 and GTA 4 just released.
Damn, G.
Who is that? Burn?
Yeah, it's Burn.
Can you clip that one? We might have to make a social graphic. We're going to feature Burn today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Told
you, Burn,
you, best
man,
teams is on 9. You was racking your brain. I'm like, no, Kool-Aid.
No. I was
it.
thinking it might be since 2008. I think this squad would pop 2019.
Ooh.
I do. Who's they go pop from Cade? Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Never mind. Let me tell them about merch here. Where we got some time. Head over to WoodwardSports.com. Click on that shop tab. DMAC Day just passed, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it and get yourself some merch over there at WoodwardSports.com. We got the DMAC Turtle Boxing Club t-shirts, hoodies. We also got the I Saw DMAC Turtle Clawed at the Joe. T-shirts and hoodies for you, available right now. Go and get them as soon as you can. WoodwardSports.com. All you got to do is just click on that shop tab.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like DMAC. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
All right, sports fans, whether you're hitting the game or just simply chilling at home, Jars Cannabis has you covered. Jars is home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products, 27 locations across the state, 9 alone in Metro Detroit, so you know they're repping Detroit in a very big way. And don't fear, because stores are popping up very, very soon in Grand Rapids, Milan, Michigan, and Madison Heights as well, too. If you don't have time to go and check them out in store, you can always check them out online at jarscannabis.com, because you know why? I know you want to get high.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward, and you know what? As much as we could have taken some consolation in the Pistons loss to the Timberwolves, especially with how well they've played recently, there's not a lot of consolation in what happened this weekend. It seemed like Auburn forced both Michigan and Michigan State literally into the keys to victory, they literally forced us each team into the opposites of those things, into their weaknesses, and it was on full display. And Johnny Broom is tough.
Yeah. They ran through.
Oh yeah,
ran through this thing.
Absolutely. And before I get JBSmooovv's, just his takeaways from Michigan State, the game, you can take it anywhere you want. The season, the game that they actually won. I got to read Dante151, his super chat. It's not easy. I repeat, it's not easy to go from 14 wins to 42 wins in a season. The Pistons were projected to win 25 and a half games, and they blew that out. Well said, Dante151. That's why there should be nothing but positive energy about the Detroit Pistons. It's the first time in NBA history that it's been done, tripling their win total. But speaking of teams that had better seasons than they did the previous years, Michigan State. And I think one thing, and this is where I'll give Michigan State credit before I pass it over to JBSmooovv, they did not have super high expectations before the season. People forget about that. They had a very disappointing season last year, and they lost their two best players from that season, Tyson Walker and Malik Hall. But with help from Jace Richardson being a revelation, I think he even exceeded the expectations of most Michigan State fans. And among other things, MSU did make it to the Elite Eight. They did win the Big Ten regular season title. But unfortunately, they did take an L against Auburn last night. JBSmooovv, what are your thoughts on Michigan State?
I mean, you're right there. We didn't have like a ton of expectation coming into this season. We didn't know what, we would see out there from these guys on the floor. Shout out to all the seniors that, you're going to be leaving this team as well, too. But, hey, you guys set a new standard for how you should play as a team and how you should get to the Elite Eight once again this next upcoming season. You guys have set the standard. Obviously, you're going to see a mix-up of lineups when it comes to next season. But this team played their ass off. They gave it their all. They pushed Auburn to the limit as much as they could. But as we said before, that damn Johnny Broom just kind of swept both Michigan and Michigan State in both halves of this game. I don't know what it was with this guy. You just couldn't figure him out. He was just going in beast mode. And hell, the man even had a shoulder injury too that took him out for a little bit, but yet he still came back in the game. Like that's toughness right there.
And he made a huge three when he came back. And that man doesn't even shoot threes well. And I'll tell you what, JB, I'll be honest. I didn't want Michigan State to win that game. Obviously. I know a lot of people might be surprised by that. I know you're supposed to root for the Big Ten, but I didn't want Michigan State to win that game. And when Broom went out with that injury, I'm like, those confounded Spartans are going to come back against an injured Auburn team. But to give Auburn credit, they really steadied the ship when a Broom was out. And when Broom came back in, obviously he didn't get a ton of time out there on the court. He obviously was still a little bit hampered, but he hit a huge three, and he's just one of those guys that his presence on the court is just it gave Auburn the lift they needed to close out that game. And what were your overall thoughts, JB, just from last night's game? Did you go in expecting MSU to win, and what are your thoughts?
I mean, obviously I'm going to root for my team. I didn't have them advancing passes. I thought this was going to be a very high mark for them, and especially going up against Auburn. If you guys couldn't have knocked them out, then it's like we were going to struggle, especially if shooting was off that night. And hell, you went 7 for 23 from the three-point line. Obviously, the three-point shooting woes came back. A lot of turnovers, a lot of miscues and mistakes, and we just couldn't not recover from that. And obviously, this was a downfall. I love the fight that they had, especially bouncing back all the way up to halftime, and then in that little bit of stretch during that second half, but it obviously was just not enough. And shout out to Johnny Broom, man. The dude was tough as hell. I don't even know if he's a lefty, but I seen him at the free throw line shooting left-handed, so shout out to him, man.
Yeah, definitely more on him when we talk about Michigan later, because he killed both of us. But I want to ask you, JB, because there's a couple of different standards when it comes to Michigan State. The standard that coming into the season, I believe they were unranked. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that they were unranked. So on one hand, the Elite Eight, given those expectations, is fantastic. But as we all know, expectations change as the season goes on. Michigan State did win the Big Ten regular season tournament. They ended up getting a 2 seed, and we all know that Tom Izzo, say what you want about him, he gets to Final Fours at an elite rate, some of the most Final Fours in NCAA history. Was this season overall a success for you?
I would have to say it was a success. Just, we weren't ranked coming into the season, as you said. Expectations were kind of in the middle right there, but as the season went on, you saw the fight, you saw the toughness of these players out there. And hey, you know what? You captured the Big Ten title, you got that 2nd seed, and you were pushing this team the hardest that they have ever been to get to a Final Four, which just fell short. But shout out and credit to Tom Izzo for taking a chance on a lot of these guys and, you know, switching up the lineup, not just being that higher classman lineup that he's been putting out there the previous years. He's actually sitting here letting freshmen step up and get big minutes. So shout out to him once again. Obviously, I said before, the lineup will change this next season, but definitely look to Tom Izzo to kind of, you know, correct themselves and be like, hey, let me give this guy a shot because he's showing me that effort. He's showing me that toughness. Hell, he's showing you that grit.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get more to Tom Izzo in a second because I think it'll satisfy more of the Michigan fans when I give you my Tom Izzo breakdown. But I got to read this super chat from Jay Hart. Hey, Sam, I wouldn't say Auburn owns the state of Michigan considering most of Auburn team is fucking 30 playing against 18 to 20-year-olds. SMH Go Green.
They did look kind of older, though. Yeah, I will admit.
5th year senior grad student, the leading scorer,
Jaden Akins.
Him too.
Yeah. Frankie
Boone
Fiddler.
Too. Boone's a 5th year grad student. So, yeah.
Was Tahad Pettiford of Auburn a 6th-year senior, or was he a freshman? No, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that like excuses thing that they just won because they're older. I understand that Broom is a damn good player and he's been in college basketball. I think it's his 5th year. I get that, but hey, if we want to talk about Michigan, Vlad Golden's old AF. So
old as fuck.
That's facts. That's
Dante
facts.
slid in with another one.
Yeah, Dante's put
ahead.
in another one for you as well too. He said Auburn average age is 24.2, I do believe, which is insane when you think about it. Also, for the first time, all 4 number 1 seeds made it since 2008, which I gotta say kind of sucks because this was an all SEC Final Four. Like,
it's what they wanted.
This was just a boring tournament, if I could say that as well too. Like, you didn't have that many buzzer beaters. There was no heart attack, taken away from any team. It was just kind of like, all right, everything just played itself out like I was supposed to.
Yeah, you got Duke, you got all number 1 seeds, Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn. It's going to be good basketball, though. We're going to be watching
definitely
some of the best teams, and obviously the player that I think most people should be most excited to watch is Cooper Flagg in the Final Four. He's lived up to the hype and then some, and I think that he's going to be one of those franchise-changing players for whoever gets him. But before we move on to other topics, the discussion of Tom Izzo has to come up. And I want to give this caveat before people think that I'm just being a hater. Tom Izzo is the best Big Ten coach of my lifetime. Tom Izzo, to me, is the 2nd best coach in Big Ten history after Bob Knight. And for reference, Bob Knight has 3 natties. That's why I have him above Tom Izzo. And Michigan has never had a guy coach basketball for their team as well as Tom Izzo. I know we love Fisher. I know we love John Beilein. None of them are as good as Izzo.
No.
But there is a reason why I think the whole January, February Izzo thing gets mocked at times by people like me, by people on social media. It's because as great as Tom Izzo has been and as great as he still is, there's only been 1 natty under his tenure. And one natty is better than 0, but I believe when Michigan State won that said natty, Jeff Iafrate and Lucas Klotz weren't born yet. If you guys have been long-time watchers of the show, you will know exactly who those guys are. And that's why I think that Tom Izzo, although he is a great coach, although he is a Hall of Famer, I've got a list right now of coaches in college basketball, coaches that you all know, coaches that you've watched very recently who have more national championships than Tom Izzo. Put it on up, JB, even though I know you don't want to.
Oh, man.
All right, well, this is actually one that I wanted to get to second, but I'll get to it first. This, to me, is Tom Izzo's peers. Tom Izzo, 1 natty, 8 Final Fours. John Calipari, 1 natty, 6 Final Fours. And Jim Boeheim, 1 natty and 5 Final Fours. This, to me, is the room that Tom Izzo sits in. If you want to say that he is the leader of said room, I will give you that he's the best of this room. But this is his company, in my opinion. John Calipari and Jim Boeheim. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. These are all guys who are Hall of Fame coaches. But there's coaches who I think have done a lot more. And JB, if you want to put that one up. National championships. Coach K 5, Bob Knight 3, Jim Calhoun 3, Roy Williams 3, Dean Smith 2, Denny Crum 2, Billy Donovan 2, Rick Pitino 2, Jay Wright 2, Bill Self 2, Dan Hurley 2, Tom Izzo 1. I'm sorry, but you cannot be considered one of the upper echelon of all-time great coaches when you have less natties than Dan Hurley and Billy Donovan. You just can't. You are in the room with John Calipari and Jim Boeheim, in my opinion. And JB, one more, even though I know you don't want to put it up, a list of coaches who have won 1 national championship. And as you can see, a lot of these names you may not have even heard of and aren't super impressive.
I think this is the right one.
This is the one. So Tom Izzo has the same number of natties as Scott Drew, Tony Bennett, Kevin Ollie, Gary Williams, Tubby Smith, Lute Olson, Jim Herrick, Nolan Richardson, Jerry Tarkanian, and Steve Fisher. A lot of these guys are damn good coaches, don't get me wrong. Like Nolan Richardson, 40 Minutes of Hell, Arkansas. Jerry Tarkanian was UNLV's coach when they had those great teams with Larry Johnson. We obviously know Steve Fisher, coach at Michigan. Lute Olson, legendary at Arizona. Scott Drew, really one of those guys who really built Baylor into a powerhouse, which is damn impressive in and of itself. Gary Williams, obviously, at Maryland. But this is Tom Izzo's company when it comes to national championships. Not Coach K, not Roy Williams, not Rick Pitino, not, obviously, guys like John Wooden, or not even Billy Donovan, not even Dan Hurley, not Bill Self. It just is what it is. So as impressive as this season was with Michigan State, as impressive as Tom Izzo as a coach, I don't want to hear January, February Izzo again as long as I live. I'm not taking shots as a Michigan fan. I am being as objective as you can possibly be. Tom Izzo is in the room with John Calipari and Jim Boeheim. Not one of the all-time greatest coaches ever.
As it relates to national championships, that's right. As it relates to coaches, though, man, Tom Izzo is one of those one-of-ones. And as a fan of basketball, I just got to make sure that's said. Unfortunate that he doesn't have more as a Go Blue fan, but as like I said, as just kind of one of those purveyors and one of those ones that try to honor the game of basketball, Tom Izzo is just something much different than even a lot of those coaches on that list that only have one. And that's at least just something I got to say about Tom Izzo.
Well, and do you want me to be the arbiter of fair? Because I will give you fair. If you want me to give a Michigan version of this, there's a reason why Jim Harbaugh isn't as good of a college coach as Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart. He's got less natties. And I am thrilled with the natty that Jim Harbaugh brought to Michigan. I am thrilled with his tenure there. I am as happy as can be. But at the end of the day, Jim Harbaugh has the same number of natties as Ryan Day, Ed Orgeron, Jimbo Fisher, and Gene Chizik. It just is what it is. If you want to say that Jim Harbaugh is better than those guys that he has the same amount of natties are, that's fine. He is the head of that room, but he's not in the room with Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Urban Meyer. I'm just doing that to be fair. It's not just an anti-Michigan State thing. It's the fact that natties, even though I defend the Big Ten a lot, have not come easy for the Big Ten powerhouses, both in basketball and football in the 21st century. And that's why the top of the top coaches, except, of course, for Urban Meyer at Ohio State, who won a couple at Florida, they're just a tad below a lot of the rest.
I do feel like when I look at his talent, though, with college basketball, it's a little bit different because you're building up programs. And the types of players he is effectively worked with and coached up versus some of those guys that got more of the titles, I can see that there's a difference there in the talent, and he did a lot of work with keeping guys going from kind of obscure or unknown to powerhouses sometimes. And I feel like what his accomplishments represent is what he was able to do with less versus what some of the other people who had a little bit more to work with from a recruiting standpoint. There may be a time is, and that's why I was like, even with a Jim Harbaugh, I believe that Jim Harbaugh, regardless of any of the titles he would have or did win or didn't win, is still going to be one of your best just football coaches out there, just period. And that's how I feel about Tom Izzo. Just when I see the job he does from an X's and O's execution standpoint. And I do believe if he found himself at one of those even kind of revered, the Dukes that just get the kind of top recruits handed to them on a platter, I wonder sometimes how he would have been as a coach. But as it relates to overall, just seeing him kind of take guys from obscurity to effectively a team that is a force almost religiously come March Madness, I think that's where it comes from. But as it relates to how we judge these things, it is off of titles. It is off of, for lack of a better thing, some of these other postseason awards and such. I know at least on a pro level, but as it relates to coaches, when you're building up that program, you want to see a lot more than just that one title up there when you're talking about one of those coaches that you consider to be in the pantheon.
Yeah, and again, you may not believe me. I'm not trying to discredit Tom Izzo. I'm just giving I think that there's a lot of Michigan State fans who, even though they love Tom Izzo, as they should, I'm pretty sure our old sales guy friend Griffin Lackey wasn't born when Tom Izzo won his last national championship. I'm just that's all I'm saying. Was Spencer Raxter in diapers or not? Not trying to be a prick. It just is what it is. Not discrediting. It's just I gave a list of the all-time greats, and Tom Izzo, he is in second best Big Ten coach of all time, best Big Ten coach of my lifetime, probably a top 15 coach in college basketball history, not any higher. Okay, Willie, I see what you're doing.
What you doing? Hey, we got to talk about Michigan too now, man. Because, like I said, it felt like Auburn just exposed the weaknesses of both teams. I thought Michigan State, they got punched in the face to start that game, and that was something that happened, I think, a couple times including in the Big Ten tournament. And with Michigan, they just forced us into everything we said you can't do. And Michigan's, they did those things and shot themselves in the foot, but Auburn, I think, is just formidable. You look at the game against Michigan State, and it made me feel a little bit better about Michigan's performance against Auburn. So
the state of Michigan got
ran through.
Yeah, they did.
At Lady J's, we take the pride of getting a haircut. Our talented stylists will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage, my favorite, the hot lather neck shave,
nasty,
and a hot towel treat. Open 7 days a week, man. Walk at any time. Lady J's haircuts for me. It's looking awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Woodward Sports is live in downtown Detroit for Tigers opening day.
This one's blasted out toward the bullpen.
Live from the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House.
Way back, forget it. Out of here.
Brought to you by White Claw.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Wait, attention sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports Fund. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Beat the Energy and every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. So you guys got to trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And we are back. And you know what? Sandwiched in between a couple of these, tough kind of segments where we're talking about our squads getting bounced and we didn't get that dream matchup of Michigan State versus Michigan in the Elite Eight. We did not handle our end of it as Gold Blue. Let's satisfy the like button real quick, man. We got to. Let's treat it right. Let's treat it nice. Because we got to talk about Michigan getting beat.
Yeah.
After we just talked about Michigan State getting beat. It's been a long weekend, KG.
Hey, it has, man. But it's time to unwind. I mean, opening day is this Friday, man. So why don't you open up to us, man? Go ahead and hit that like button. Just glaze your finger a little bit. You know, maybe lick it a little bit. Just put that finger on that like button, man.
Go long and deep. Come on. You know what? Auburn.
That confounded Auburn.
Down.
Pause.
Auburn won 78-65. Michigan, man. Flannel. Hold on. Take it away, Flannel. I'm sorry, dog.
No,
This
that's
stuff happened.
Just promote lubrication. That's all.
hey, yo.
They didn't lubricate
Johnny
that
Brown.
night.
He ran roughshod over the Michigan defense, man.
Yeah.
And they got
no
forced,
lube.
They got forced
Right.
into a lot of their
Very dry.
Forced into a lot of the things we said they can't do.
Yeah.
Are you talking about getting out rebounded?
Oh yeah.
Long and hard.
48-33. The assists, 15-6, bro. I don't even understand what happened there. The only thing that you can call a wash was the turnovers. But here, not all turnovers are the same. 15-15, right? The problem is points off the turnovers. Michigan gave up 23.
Yeah.
So everything that they probably and should have done to help themselves in a tough matchup against Johnny Broom and Auburn, they just didn't do in this game.
They did not. And one thing that I want to say before we really break down the Michigan-Auburn game, Michigan season, and this is my fault. It's nobody else's in here. All last Friday, I've been pronouncing his first name wrong. It's actually pronounced Janai Broom.
Oh.
That was my bad.
Oh, really?
That was my
Janai
bad.
Broom?
I should have been more diligent about that. I've been calling him Johnny all along.
Janai.
My bad. Janai.
I'm pretty sure you weren't the only one, so.
That's
yeah,
fair.
I'm
That's
pretty
fair.
sure they
But-
said it
but-
on the broadcast as Johnny.
Absolutely. I still need to do better due diligence myself. But
Janai.
hey, but yeah, Michigan, obviously tough loss against Auburn. It's still a very successful season, them getting to the Sweet 16, coming off of an 8-24 season. But a lot in the Michigan game against Auburn just went wrong. And I know Kool-Aid, you just brought up a couple of things, but there was one graphic that I'm about to show you that is very damning. I will just say that as to Michigan cannot do this and still win. JB, you got the one. It starts out with one Mr. Trey Donaldson. This is what happened. Michigan basketball was in the Sweet 16. Trey Donaldson, 2 of 9 from the floor, 5.0 assists, 4 turnovers. Trey Donaldson picked a really bad day to have the worst game of his life. And I know a lot of people were calling for a Trey Donaldson revenge game because he went back to his old school. That did not happen. Auburn fans and players are probably like, man, this guy blows. I'm so glad he transferred. I'm not saying he actually does, but that's probably what they're thinking. 4 turnovers, 0 assists, absolutely unacceptable. If you would have told me this was Trey Donaldson's stat line, I probably would have said that Michigan would have lost by more, honestly. How about Vlad Golden, though? 7-footer, 2 of 9, 3 turnovers. More turnovers than field goals from your 7-foot center, who was your all Big Ten first-team guy. Can't happen. Unacceptable, inexcusable. Just a ugly AF stat line right there.
That's terrible.
And then the rebounds. Auburn, 48. Michigan, 33. 19 of them offensive for Auburn, 10 of them offensive for Michigan.
Yeah.
And then what did I talk about before the game? I predicted that Danny Wolf would outplay Janai Broom and prove that he is ultimately the more talented player and the one who is better. I was wrong. Danny Wolf had a solid offensive game. He gave you 20 on 9 of 18, 2 of 4 from 3. But the difference was you need Danny Wolf to crash the boards and be he's your best rebounder. He was the leading rebounder in the Big Ten. Gets absolutely punked on the boards by Janai Broom. 16 of them things, 7 offensive. Danny Wolf, 6 rebounds, 4 offensive. That is just a putrid bunch of woes. Mm-hmm. And if you would have known that this was going to happen before the game, you're like, Michigan's going to get murdered. And they didn't get murdered per se, but it's just Auburn's really, really good, but Michigan's got to be better. You can't go effing around with a team like Auburn and play like that.
Not at all. And I have a number for you guys. That number is the number 34. Do you know what that represents?
No.
The number of extra opportunities effectively that Auburn had between their 19 offensive rebounds and the 15 turnovers that Michigan handed them.
Wow.
That's a lot, and especially when you consider 23 points off the turnovers. And do you know how many points they got off their second chance opportunities? Because I'm sure it was a lot here when you talk about 19 extra opportunities. That's a recipe for a loss.
Yeah.
That just is what it is. And Michigan, like I said, look, if they out-scheme you, if they out-physical you, all right. But turnovers, that's something that you have a lot of control over. But it's something that has bit them the entire season. And the better teams, the more physical teams, have been able to push them more into these types of team stats and box scores.
And the thing is, too, these numbers are obviously bad, but there's even more to it because when you look at Michigan players who need to step up, let's just be honest, Will Shedder, Roddy Gale, and LJ Kaysen gave you nothing.
Yep.
And I'm not killing them for it. They made the Sweet 16. I'm just giving you a reason why Michigan did not win. On the other hand, Denver Jones and Tashad Pettiford for Auburn, when there was one point where Michigan had a big lead in the second half, 9 points, and then Auburn went on a run, and then they continued that run with an even greater run, and all I kept seeing were just demoralizing dagger threes and dagger dribble drives and another dagger three and a dagger mid-range, then another dagger three from Denver Jones and Tashad Pettiford, and Michigan was just powerless to stop it. They got hot from the perimeter. The guards were just slaughtering Michigan's guards when it counted the most. And Auburn is definitely the better team. Auburn played like it. Very proud of Michigan for the season that they had. But at the end of the day, Sweet 16s, they're not promised. You can't take them lightly. And this is a bit of a missed opportunity, especially considering Vlad Golden is definitely gone. I think Namari Burnett has no eligibility left. Danny Wolf might go to the NBA. I think it would behoove him to stay. Yeah. But this was tough loss, great season. That's all you really can say about it.
Yep, and you know what, as it relates to Michigan, I do have a question I want to ask both of you all, but definitely, KG, man, your thoughts on the game, especially as one of our gold blue diehards. Yeah, no, I mean, as a fan, you really hate that they let this game get away from them because they were right there in it, especially in that first half. They had kind of kept the turnovers to a controllable amount, but then in the second half, it just got away from them. And once again, you hate to see this game get away because, Michigan didn't shoot well from three and from the field, but neither did Auburn. Like, those numbers are very, very similar when you go look at the team stats. They both technically didn't have the best offensive outputs. And, because of some of the defense that they were playing in the first half, they were hanging around and they had a very, very good chance to win this game. But like you said, in the second half, the turnovers piled up and then you just got nothing from your guards. Your guard play was absolutely horrible. And listen, Johnny Broome, he went in there and killed us. I'm not denying that at all. But what really got to me was Denver Jones, I believe his name was. Yeah. Him getting hot in that second half as the game was closing out, that really just did the Michigan Wolverines in, and they just lost it after that, man. And you needed a better game from Vlad Golden on the glass, and really Danny Wolf for that matter too. Your 2 7-foot guys not really controlling the boards, that's a problem. And you add that to the guard play offensively, they just did not have it. They weren't making shots, and it came back to bite Michigan, man. And we all knew the Achilles heels of this team, and it finally caught up to us at a bad time, although they could have won this game. They had a good chance to win this game. They
could have. They were up by 9 in the second half, and then after that, I don't even – the run that Auburn went on was – I think it was 31-8. Mm-hmm. It was just an avalanche. And Kool-Aid, you said – I know I wanted to talk, but you said you had a question. I'll let you ask your question.
Hey, you know what? The question is this. Some people are saying that the success of Michigan, because it's about the future, it's not as sustainable. And it's more due to Dusty May being a transfer portal merchant. And I wanted to be able to get your take on that because I think that Dusty May is just a darn good coach. And if he can identify and find the type of talent that works within his system, you're going to be able to see this type of success more times than not. And I do believe Michigan is just now getting into using that NIL.
And for the record, if you want to call it – if you want to call Dusty May a transfer portal merchant for what he did at Michigan in year one, fine. It's not derogatory. They needed players. Where would they have been without Vlad Golden, Danny Wolf, and Trey Donaldson? Effed, that's what they would have been. But they got him. And shout out to Dusty May. That's part of the skill of being a head coach in the modern era. But you also saw him at FAU with those players like Vlad Golden and Jonell Davis. Those weren't guys that were FAU. Is that a hotbed for the transfer portal? Absolutely not. Those were guys that stayed and Dusty May developed. And speaking of next year, I think Michigan they're intriguing. They're getting one of the top recruits, Trey McKinney. Thank you, Will, for putting that down, because that is true. That's going to be big. I think you're going to probably get LJ Kaysen back. You're going to get Trey Donaldson back. You're going to get Will Shedder back, amongst others. But I am right here now to make a plea. Danny Wolf, come back. I think that his game needs a lot of refinement. It needs a lot of polish, because you see him out there sometimes and he damn near looks like the college Jokic on a smaller level, but you understand what I'm saying. The skill set, the ability. But too many times he would just get into these ruts. And I've got one more little graphic I made on Danny Wolf in Michigan's late season losses, because when Michigan would lose these later games, Danny Wolf would always be lacking in one regard. At Purdue, 1 of 7 from the floor. The first game against MSU, 5 of 11 from the floor, 1 of 4 from behind the arc. The game against Illinois that they lost by 20, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Versus Maryland, otherwise had a good game but had 5 turnovers, which is well above his season average. At MSU, 5 of 15 from the floor. And at home, and not home, the tournament game against Auburn, 6 rebounds, which, again, other than that, he had a good game, but the fact that Janai Broom had 16 and Danny Wolf had 6, that's a recipe for disaster against this team. There were too many moments where Danny Wolf would look closer to this than what his potential would dictate. And I think one more year could get Danny Wolf into the lottery. If he shows that skill set, cuts down on the turnovers, ups that field goal percentage to at least above 55%, which this past year it was 49.7, maybe develops a more consistent three-point shot, Danny Wolf is going to be a lottery pick. But as of right now, he still strikes me as a little bit of a project, given some of his deficiencies. He's so talented. I just feel like he could dominate the college level, and Michigan could really be back and have much higher expectations going into this next season, and maybe even be one of the Big Ten title favorites. If Danny Wolf comes back, Michigan's going to have very high expectations.
No, he's a second-round talent at this point if he decides to go to the draft. You remember we've been debating about it. You know, for a minute he was kind of looking like a first-rounder, just you know, depending on his skill set and his size.
Midway through the season, he was mocked as a first-rounder.
Yeah, but obviously at this point, I think he's embedded in the second round. It would behoove him to stay just to even improve his draft stock going into next year. And like Sam said, his game needs a lot of refinement. And shout out to Gromit 0237 in the chat. He said something that I actually believe. Wolf gets sloppy because he gets tired from playing a few too many minutes. I think you kind of see that with his game, especially in terms of ball handling. At times, you know, he can get sloppy in terms of passes and stuff like that. And I think it does come from that. But he is the man on this team, and he is expected to go out there and ball out. But with another year at the college level, I think that can only help him at this point, of course, barring injury. And I would like to see him come back to Michigan, because I feel like, you know, he provided a lot for this team, and we wouldn't have gotten as far as we did without a Danny Wolf, especially early and midway through the year, just being a offensive, like, you know, force for this team. So I hope he comes back. It will be good. I would like to see Michigan hit the portal, like Sam said, go out there, get some more talent. I don't think Dusty May is afraid of the portal by any means. They will go out, they will get better, and I'm looking forward to next season. But all in all, this was a good year. This was a better year than any Michigan fan could ask for. You wish they had played a little bit better in that Auburn game, because they could have won it.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that's the thing. And I agree with you guys' sentiments on with Danny Wolf as well. I look at a guy like a Bobby Klintman on the Pistons, who, you know, similar stature, similar kind of skill sets. Maybe, you know, Bobby Klintman was a guy who through summer league you saw him also handling the rock and facilitating a little bit. You know, a player that is a little bit taller as it relates to you know, Danny Wolf, who's a 7-footer out there handling the rock.
Yeah,
I do believe that it would be better for him to take that one more year in college as the man and work on things like your stamina, work on things like your usage. Because if you're going to be a lottery pick, then you're talking about being a guy that's going out there and, this kind of new age. You look at guys like Zachary Reese, you look at guys like Modest Buzelis, and that's where if you're going to be a lottery pick, you're hoping that he's looking at what these guys are doing and being able to push his skill set consistently that much higher. Because you don't want to see in your tough matchups and in your big matchups that you're disappearing or fading away, especially as a young player. You got so much in front of you. It's like digest it this offseason. You're at a program that is effectively putting in all the attention to, like you said, you being the best player on this squad, you being the guy. And I do believe that another year of college will, help him. And this is, y'all know me, man. I kind of want the Pistons to snag him in the second round if they have the chance.
Yeah, not for real.
But as like a Michigan fan, as a fan of seeing these guys like get better as just basketball players.
Yeah.
Hey, that's where you're like, man, give Michigan one more year. Just honestly, not even from a selfish standpoint. We're in the era of NIL. It's like get yourself some insurance if you have to, from your squad. And honestly, get better this year as the man and give yourself a great opportunity going into the next draft to be one of those lottery picks.
And I want to be very clear. I love Danny Wolf. The reason why I brought what I brought up earlier is to just highlight that he still has a little bit too many inconsistencies and lapses, and it hurt Michigan at times. But he certainly helped the team. Like, he made up for it with his skill set and with all the good things that he did. It's just that I think if he comes back next year, he is a guy that could legitimately be fighting for All-America spots, not just all Big Ten, All-American spots, and have that Janai Broom type impact for Michigan, but be a more talented player. And I know it was mentioned in the chat, and KG, you piggybacked off of that. If I were Danny Wolf, well, if you're projected as a first rounder, it's hard to say what I would do, but if I'm talking about going back to Michigan, if that's my final decision, I'm using this offseason to get in the best shape of my life.
Yes.
Just get that tip-top conditioning to where he's never been before. I'm not saying his conditioning was necessarily bad this year, but I think even he was probably surprised at so I got to bring the ball up, I got to dribble, I got to run the offense, and then on the other end, I got to rim protect against Janai Broom. I got to rim protect against Derek Queen. That's a lot of usage, and I'm not trying to be obtuse to that. It's just he's got some refinement that he needs to. He's got some things he needs to work on, and I think that he could just wreck college basketball if he comes back. But if the scouts project him as a top 20 pick or as just a first round pick in general, it'd be hard to turn that down.
He's probably going to go if that's the case, man. But you know what? I do believe, and who knows? When you get into that NBA development aspect, there's some players that do jive with that. And it'd be interesting to see. Selfishly, as a Go Blue fan, it's like, you know what? Stay that extra year. And if not, as a Pistons fan, not to the Pistons.
I mean, if he goes to the NBA, he's going to the G League. I think most teams would probably put him in the G League first, let him work it out there, and then hopefully he can refine his skills in that way as he gets ready to go to the NBA.
It's going to be an interesting road ahead for him. But one thing I know as it relates to Dusty May, I'm not concerned about what he's going to be able to do. If he was a transfer portal merchant before, well, now he also can be an NIL merchant too.
Absolutely.
And it just gives more, another feather in his cap as it relates to who he is as a recruiter and how he's able to establish his relationships. I value that because he did this before he had the brand behind him, the block in behind him. Now he has that behind him, but he's already proven to be one of those kind of master relationship and master recruiter types. And he's able to convince some people. If he was able to convince them to come here and say, hey, guys, I know we can have this type of a season this year, I trust who he can be as a program builder. Man, shout out to Dusty, man.
Ward, man, you open that checkbook up. It's time. Hey, it's time.
He did it for Michigan football, and they're still saying they might open it up more for Michigan football.
Yeah.
Do it for Michigan basketball, and
but this year
we're gonna have more of these types of runs.
Yeah, no, this year definitely proved like Dusty is capable, and we knew that him coming to the school, but we needed to see it in the Michigan program. But he can absolutely build this thing up to where they're contending for Final Fours year in and year out.
This proves he's capable, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think Ward Manuel's opening that checkbook unless it's Michigan football. That's just something he believes in a lot more than Michigan basketball. Let's be real.
Well, I hope you're wrong because
I can't even say JB is wrong, but based on recent behavior, it would behoove them to also invest in the basketball program because they right there. I mean, they got to a Sweet 16 year one, so if you get some more talent in here and let alone Danny Wolf stays, this is a Final Four type team next year.
It's like choose your fighter. Ward Manuel with Michigan basketball or Chris Ilitch with the Tigers.
No, Chris Ilitch. At least Ward kind of came to his senses a little bit.
Oh, man. I got to tell the people about Buddy's Pizza. You know why? Because it's darn good. Sounds like lunch today. Buddy's Pizza has been serving the original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. And 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the state of Michigan, the great state of Michigan. And fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10. That's 10 MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2024 Envision AVE NIR for only $299 per month. Or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $229 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $799 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Thank you all for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. And it's been a show. It's been a full show. We had to break down hoops in great detail in the state of Michigan, Michigan State Spartans, University of Michigan Wolverines, and those fighting Detroit Pistons. But now we got to get to everybody's favorite segment. Hey, spark up word to jars, JBSmooovv.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
J Bizzle.
Let's rock.
Yo. What's going on, chat family? What's up, fellas? Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. You were safe this weekend. Unlike this person right here. So let me know if you guys have ever had a weekend like this.
Did she fall?
Wait.
Oh,
Damn.
Whoa. Holy shit.
Oh, man.
How the hell you do that?
You guys thought that was an optical illusion. Like,
Yes, dog. Wait, dog, hold on.
How do you even do that?
And why did they crawl back into the car and close the door like everything is normal?
because they're trying to drive off.
I'm just going to the date. Just going to the movies. That's all. Hey, shut the door, please.
What the
What's
hell?
going on?
This almost looked like a residential street. Like, how the hell did you flip your car upside down?
Do you think she put on her seatbelt?
I guarantee
I
you.
would hope so. Verse
I don't get it.
What are they?
Damn.
What's the point? I don't understand it. Like
You got in a car
crawled
accident.
into your car. How did your car get like this? I have so many questions, JBSmooovv.
I don't have any other answers for you. I'm sorry. This shocked me when I seen it too. So I was just
That's new levels of
confused.
Yeah.
Really confused out there. I got another tough guy in training, but it's a woman. So shout out to the ladies out here. You also can be tough women in training as well.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Oh,
God
I
damn,
didn't
my
see
bad.
that on the way.
Yeah, TGT go both ways. Man. She a tough girl in training, man.
Just stop doing this stuff at the gym. Just stop.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's tough. No, that shit hurt.
Hell yeah. Broomstick in the
I
face.
feel like you could have used something that was like much smaller than that too to just
Yeah.
jump over.
Yeah, could have had a V8 too.
Well, there's more tough people in training. Once again, this guy right here who should probably take your exercises
Right.
out of the park. Just to say that.
Dumbass.
Oh!
Shit.
He
Whoa!
broke his
back.
vertebrae.
That's my back.
Spinal.
It's spinal.
Oh, wow.
Jesus,
Just
man.
stop taking your exercise outside at these kids' parks, please. Stop. Just
Damn,
stop.
that shit's
He ran on
hurt.
his
My
back
back.
so hard he gave himself Big D energy.
It's like, oh.
Oh wait,
What?
hold on, Kool-Aid, you out of line for that.
Big D injury.
Are you implying that he gave himself fellatio?
Oh!
Give yourself a blowjob.
Bright could
in
have for that
position.
split second.
What did you just say?
Give himself a blowjob in that position. I mean,
Kool-Aid on
goddamn.
some
Wow.
gave himself Big D energy.
There you go, Kool-Aid.
I don't even know.
There you go.
You know you wrong, bro.
Out of pocket.
You know you wrong.
That is out of pocket. The way the position with the
Damn.
when you get that
Look
position,
at Will fade.
TGT, dog. It's
like you give
real.
yourself a-
Will is appalled, okay, by your vocabulary.
yeah, man. I didn't know he got in your Kool-Aid. I knew it, but I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you.
So proud of you, man.
Oh no. Well,
Oh,
You keep it professional.
Golly.
Sometimes we all slip up.
Finally, I will end what's trending with this. Once again, accidents happen. You could have avoided this accident. Just saying.
Please don't.
Oh, I already know what Chase would be saying about the school.
Oh! God. All right, that could have been worse, actually.
Nah.
No,
Like,
you could have landed flat on your fucking back on the fence. Like that could have went south real quick.
Just like downtown
He
with
hits the
the scooters.
security camera light.
You maybe just dislocated a arm or a shoulder instead of breaking your spine. I think that's a W.
I'm waiting for it downtown when they get them scooters. You pay for it, and you can use the scooters, and then you drive. I said, wait for these to slip out one good time. Ain't no accidents with those
Chase
lime
would be going
scooters,
ham
so I
right
was
now
waiting for
this
that.
dude on the scooter, dog.
Just one good time.
You know it's bad when you in the air and all you can do is flail. Like,
You're right. No, no.
like at that point, the panic sets in. Like right here, he's like, ah!
You know it's bad. The scooter is like 4 feet away from you at this point. Like, oh no, like this is ended bad.
At least you got a helmet.
Oh,
Since when did What's Trending become MTV Scar?
no, for real though. Like this is ridiculousness now.
Or ridiculousness too. Yeah.
Hey, like I said, this is what I found over the weekend. I got plenty more of this stuff, and it'll be coming out later on this week as well.
JB,
too,
you need
but-
to get some hobbies, man.
Like I said, hopefully you didn't have that bad of a weekend, but that's it for what's trending.
Hey,
Not bad.
JBSmooovv, you
As
cooking
always.
up as always, man. Just like buddies, look at them, they cooking up as well. I crack up every time Sean Belizean walks in and sees
Oh
his
my
picture,
God.
dog.
Yeah.
He never fails. He did that shit during the break. I'm thinking it's just for the show. He came in the other day during our break and was like breaking the pizza down. I'm like, that is his favorite ad, man. Shout out to Buddies, man.
Shout out to buddies, man. Shout out to Sean Belizean, all the great people at Woodward Sports. But shout out to you, man. Hey, did we see any mailbags? Let's get some. We'll probably answer one or two mailbag questions today.
Yeah,
You got to hear from anybody else?
Just Mark White.
Mark White. Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Hey, and it's time for that Feldman Chevrolet of Novi mailbag segment. And BitCon 51, Feldman Mailbag. No torpedo bat talk? I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Have you guys heard of this? The Yankees changed the shape of some of their players'
Oh,
bats.
yeah. I didn't know it had a name, though. Torpedo bat is
That's
what they call
people
it?
are calling it.
What's
Just torpedo
that?
bat. I've heard other people use some other interesting names for this bat.
Yeah.
But we'll just use torpedo bat on this show.
Well, shit, whatever they doing is working.
Willie B anymore.
Whatever they doing is working. Aaron Judge is on pace for 1,000 home runs. Like that shit. 4 home runs in what, 3 games? It's crazy.
Correct. Aaron Judge finally hit the stride last couple of years, so he's one of the best hitters today. Top hitters right now in the Major
The only
League
thing this
Baseball.
proves is Jazz
Even though I hate
Chisholm
the Yankees.
needs a torpedo pat to be good. No, I'm kidding. I'm on my hair.
It don't matter to bat.
No.
You put it in Aaron Judge's hand.
He's been up playing well. I'll give Jazz Chisholm that.
Yeah, chill on Jazz, man.
Hey, JBSmooovv, what you think about these torpedo bats?
The name is just crazy, especially all the side names as well too. But 15 homers like over the weekend, like really? This is unreal.
Should the Tigers are they able to do this type
Yes,
of stuff?
invest in torpedo bats,
Right,
please.
yeah, why not?
Please invest in torpedo
If
bats.
Javi get a swing to hit the home run, shit.
That probably not gonna happen.
That's not gonna work.
Javi can't hit shit if he had a goddamn 2x4. He couldn't hit nothing. I did want to ask. That was kind of my mailbag to the room since we didn't touch Tigers today. I figured we would talk more tomorrow, but just thoughts on the weekend series. Of course, it didn't go our way, but I'm not mad. Are you upset after being 0-3 coming up out of this?
They fought.
They
In
did.
the game with Schoolboy, he didn't have his best stuff, and they still fought. They still put up a little bit of runs. And they did it again, and they fought, and they went to extra innings. It's like, how much can I really fault them for that? You want to see them come away with at least one of them. I know Flannel wanted to see them at least win one.
Yeah.
But to see the way that they scrapped and the way that they fought, knowing that they're shorthanded, and some of the additions that we're going to be depending on until we get healthy, they acquitted themselves okay. I want to see how they do kind of in the series ahead. We talk about with the Pistons, with the Lions, one of the tests, the true test of where they were, was how they responded to their losses, how they responded to kind of the adversity, and what type of resiliency they showed. So I definitely want to see who this team is, knowing that at the end of this next series is an opening day in Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, the runners in scoring position was brutal. I thought that the bullpen was a little disappointing, but let's just hope that it's a case of the Dodgers just being the best team in baseball.
I swear it is. And I'm sorry, Friday they screwed us, dog. They could have won that game still going into extras, and I understand that. They played us on that fucking call.
The final call, yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. That shit was atrocious to me. But
fair.
Overall, like you said, I like how they fought, and they seem more to me like the Tigers we saw in that last month, as opposed to the Tigers we saw midway through the season last year, even in the face of some of the injuries that they have, and also Gleyber Torres, getting injured. Hopefully he's okay. From what I read, it was a soft tissue injury. They haven't really came out and said anything about it, so hopefully it's a nothing burger because he's already been one of your best hitters. You really can't afford to lose him right now. But overall, I like how this team played, and yet you competed and could have won all 3 games against the best team in baseball. I mean, it is what it is. Like, yes, you would have liked for them to capture 1, but going into the Seattle series, I need y'all to at least get 2. I don't feel like that's too much to ask.
You know what actually kind of makes me a little bit mad, but this is on a personal level. It's not indicative of the Tigers season. You look at guys like Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, they did what they do.
Yeah.
That bastard Tommy Edman.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
God.
Yeah. That's why they got him.
Man.
Not a Flannel Sam guy. I'll just say that.
Flannel does it.
But overall, that confidence level, that encouragement in the Tigers, man, at least off of one series, we won't overreact.
No, but it's a lot of positives to take away from that series, too. Like the way they played, you liking what you getting from Torque right now. I mean, Colt Keith needs to improve, obviously, but Zach McKinstry's played well. Riley Green needs to step it up a little bit. But overall, like, the team looks okay. Even like I said, in the face of how many injuries they have right now, they look like they can go out there and win a lot of games, like even as constructed.
It's not just the injuries. It's like, some of those bats, they're going to take that month or 2.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And that's where I'm hoping Riley Green is sooner rather than later. But no, I agree with what you're saying there, man.
Yeah, he'll warm up. I'm not worried too much about it.
I will say this, though. If you guys agree that the second game of the series was a screw job, then Riley Green got screwed out of a go-ahead RBI.
No, for real. He did.
Damn.
That was some bullshit.
That was like double whammy for me.
Like he whiffed on him when he was coming home, and then once he got to home plate, the replay clearly shows that he wasn't tagged until his hand was on home plate. And shout out to Manuel Margot too. He's been playing hella ball since becoming a Tiger. Of course, it's not sustainable, but you just like the fact that he's come in and hit the ground running. But overall, yeah, they won that game, bro. You can't tell me no different.
Hey, you know what, man? And you get to be able to say that about a squad when you know that they're fighting like that. And that's why I want to see exactly who they are against the Commanders. Hey, you know what, chat family? Let me know how you guys are feeling about these Tigers coming up against this Seattle team. Because I'm seeing some people in the chat who said that they're supposed to sweep. I know you want at least 2, but you know what? Go out there and do work, man. Go out there and do damage. And give yourself an opportunity to come back to Detroit with the city rocking. Hopefully the weather, continues to trend towards that warm, spectrum. But I'm looking forward to the end of this week being epic.
No, the reason I'm demanding 2 is because I believe Scuba was pitching the finale in this Seattle series. Yeah. So if that's the case, you gotta. I don't want to chop it up as an auto dub, but you have a really good chance to win when he's on the mound. So I just need something from somebody else on this team, and hopefully Jackson Jobe in the first game tonight, he can go out there and show some things.
Yep. Cannot get swept.
Yeah.
If the Tigers get swept, then I'm panicking a little bit. And did we read Dante 151's last super chat and watch the Spurs get Cooper Flag?
Oh no, for real. I think they really are setting that up.
You heard what they're also talking about doing?
What?
The word on the street is they're trying to get KD to form their own big 3 with Fox and Wemby.
I can see it because this may be Greg Pop's send off, so they want to probably reward the Spurs for being one of those teams. I could really see them getting Cooper.
Wasn't
Flag,
last year's Greg Pop's last send off? Why we keep giving him one more year?
Castle on the rookie deal.
What'd you say, brother?
I'm just saying, why we keep giving Pop another year? Oh, last year was your send off. Now this year will be your send off. Now next year will be your send off. Why you keep giving him more and more picks just to be like, you know what? I'm gonna come back another year.
All of that just to beat the man Cade Cunningham, bro.
All of that.
That's right.
Goodness gracious, dog. If the Spurs wind up with Cooper Flag, that's gonna be
ridiculous, bro.
Especially with what they're already talking about trying to do. So.
Yep. Then I don't even want to imagine that.
Sheesh, is that a show?
Yep.
I think that's a show. We started up pretty fired up too, man. We even got Flannel Sam waving the bat saying he's fired up.
Yeah.
Started off pretty epic this morning, Flannel.
Just pipe down. That's all I gotta say.
I feel you. You got to give a brother a warning next time you coming in like that, though. Like I just wasn't prepared.
That's my fault. I instigate that.
Hey, let's get that chest pass going. Hey, you there, man. Whoa, you got to warn.
Watch yourself.
Warn us.
Watch yourself.
It's that big musket energy right there, man. Bang! I wasn't ready for it.
Neither was she.
Going balls deep.
Hello.
Hey, man, that's your assist on KG. So what you expect?
Hey, you know what?
I was gonna do that. I thought you were just gonna shoot the rock. I ain't know you was gonna tear the backboard down. About that.
All right, Shaq Diesel.
Oh man, shout out to our brother Matthew Broder, that dude Justin Cavassier Chase. And you know what? We got this elite booth. Willie B in the sound booth. What up, though?
What up, though, man?
Like the hoodie too.
Oh, appreciate it. Avengers, assemble. Everything smooth. Hey, man, let's start the money fresh. Let's get excited. Let's enjoy this week, especially the Tigers week. This is gonna be epic. Let's go get it, man.
Hey,
shout out to everybody, man.
Let's rock. Shout out to WUW Sports MVP in the TD booth. That is JBSmooovv. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hopefully, everyone had a good weekend. Let's, as Willie B said, start this week off right. We got the Tigers opening day. The tent party should be amazing. And Dante151 sent in this NBA Finals predictions, $1.99 super chat. What do you guys think before we get out of here?
That's good wishful thinking.
You think the Thunder ready? Think they getting there?
I think they do. I feel like Jokic is looking crazy insane right now, though.
Yeah, that's Denver. I feel like they could get back, bro. I really do. I would say Denver, Boston at this point.
I'm gonna see it. I think he's ready. Thunder, Celtics.
That'd be nice.
Celtics, Lakers.
Holy shit!
Whoa.
You know the NBA want that for the a millionth time.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Willie B?
Man, they predict that for the longest. They want the Celtics Lakers rivalry go NBA ratings up, so they need something to get the NBA ratings back up. So yeah, might as well.
Bro, if Luka get there year one with Bron, dog, after that trade, that Dallas Mavericks trade gonna look like the worst trade in history, bro. It really is. Even with them getting Anthony Davis, that's crazy.
It look like or that it is?
It's not yet though, but if they were to get to a finals, I think that that's top 3 worst trades ever, like automatically.
Oh yeah,
Luka, bro.
But you did get Anthony Davis back. It's just unfortunate they got hurt, but that's the story on Anthony Davis. He gets hurt. But yeah, on paper it wasn't the worst deal ever. But like, yeah, that shit it gets worse by the day. It gets worse by the day.
Hey, you know what? Dog, that's so bad. Hey, KG, what up, though, man? Detroit's #1 draft pick, aka Black Hollywood, rookie of the year, going for MVP. You're always a set pick.
Yeah. Hey, chilling, man. Really looking forward to opening day this weekend. Tigers, please get some wins so we have something to cheer about, goddamn it. But Friday is going to be epic. Make sure y'all getting y'all passes to come down there and rock with us at the tent party. It's going to be so much fun, man. Woodward Sports does it right every single time. And shout out to my team. Shout out to the chat. Almost 500 tapped in with us this morning. We appreciate y'all. Let's keep this shit rolling, bro.
Hey, let's rock. Woodward Sports and Woodward and Wake Up Woodward's better than squad, better than network, man. Flannel Sam, Red Wings correspondent, all sports known, go Blue lover, and you know what can I say about this? Tom Izzo, he's making sure that Tom Izzo is appropriately understood.
Appropriately understood. No hate, just appropriate understanding. But speaking of appropriate understanding, I need the Tigers to appropriately understand a win tonight.
Yeah.
That's what that would be nice. You got Jackson Jobe going against Emerson Hancock. So,
hell of a name.
Hell of a name, yeah. Did he sign the Declaration of Independence?
It's not a little bit too early.
He sounded like he was around in 1776.
Oh, absolutely.
Damn. Emerson Hancock.
You know, hey, good movie. But it's your boy Brandon, the aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter, watching the network. This has been Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you, chat family, for tapping in with us. If you didn't get that opportunity to, go on ahead and make sure you smash that like button, hit the like button, satisfied, treat it right. It's a long weekend. We need some pick-me-ups, man. So definitely go ahead and hit that like button, share the stream, continue to support Woodward Sports all day long. We appreciate you guys. Have a good day.